The founder, the person actually I'm going to talk about is Ahmad Al-Qadi, and not, what is it, Banna. Ahmad Al-Qadi was born in one of the suburbs of Cairo. His schooling was in Egypt, and so was his undergraduate training. Thereafter, he moved to Graz in Austria, where he trained in surgery. In between, somewhere, he spent about a year or so in Dublin, preparing for his primary in the fellowship. Thereafter, he moved to the States, where he trained as a cardiothoracic surgeon. I first met him at the IMA convention in Dearborn, Detroit in 1979. He was one of the organizers. And he invited me on my tour in America at that time to come and visit him in his place in Pensacola, right on the Bay of Mexico. Beautiful place where he lived, and he was in charge of all surgical hospitals in Pensacola area. One of the things that I can still remember and I found phenomenally interesting was he never had anything bad to say about anybody. You know, if I talk to him, I say, look, that guy there, you know how we always talk, I said, that guy there, and he listens and he says, yeah, but he does this. He always found some good in him. If I talk about an occasion, I said, look, that thing happened there like that. He said, yeah, but. And the but was always there. It's a phenomenal quality which only later I realized that this was one of the qualities of our Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That when he looked at a person, he would look to see, is there any good in this person? And then he would work to increase that good in the person. And you can see the result of the people he took, Baddus, and made them into leaders of the world. It's a phenomenal quality. And there is a hadith in Bukhari as well about this, where Rasulullah says to the effect that if you believe in Allah and the last day, then speak good or keep silent. So now he epitomized that, and I saw this as a thing, and it really, I can still remember this. Anything you say, you found something good. And I think this is a phenomenal quality which we find difficult in our lives. And I think all the time we find faults in one another. Anything say, this fellow spoke so well, but yeah, but. And that but kills the whole thing, He accepted our invitation to come and help us launch the IMA because we were having a problem. We didn't know how to handle this question of we don't need an IMA in South Africa. We didn't know, we couldn't manage. And he came in 1979, and the remarkable thing was he paid for his own airfare. His dedication, it's something that was, it's just mind-blowing. And yet he wasn't a very rich man, but here. We took him around the country. He landed in Johannesburg. We had meetings in Johannesburg, Indonesia, Roshni, Springs, Pretoria. We took him to Wits, and he addressed everybody. And then we took him to Cape Town, and from there to Port Elizabeth, and then he came to Durban. And from Durban, we took a road trip to Johannesburg via Ascot and Ladysmith and Newcastle. And everywhere he spoke about why we need an IMA. And this is something that we have recorded. It's in our journals, and even at Bima, we printed this before he's there. But what stands out for me is the core of his message. And the core of his message was that religion is a very powerful force in human beings. It's how you use that force. We can see in today's world, look at the BJP, they're using religion to create hatred to unite people. And in Islam, religion is used to create goodness. And this is what we were doing with the IMA. The reason for forming the IMA was to do good, to bring the good in ourselves out, to become relevant in our lives, so that there prevails harmony and love, not hatred. This, when I think about it, this is why he was so successful. Wherever he went, people could understand what he was saying, because the message came through very clearly. Other thing about his character, which is very phenomenal, not phenomenal, but it's so beautiful, was that he at no time in the over 20 years that I knew him, did he ever say, you know, I did this, I did that. He never ever said that. He never said that, you know, I do this and nobody recognizes me. He never wanted recognition. In fact, his family used to complain. Say, you do all this, nobody cares for you. He says, good. It was that good in him that always came out, which is an enormous, when I think about it every time, I mean, there's only goodness in him. And it was this goodness that has the reason why we exist. It was the barakah of that goodness. And I must admit that it was something that still remains with us. And we must continue to culture this and create it and grow it, inshallah. His concept of Islamic medicine was not the concept which many people have. Many people think that Islamic medicine is tib al-nabawi, the tib which we can get from the Prophet ﷺ's life. Some feel that the Hakimi medicine is Islamic medicine, etc. His concept, his understanding of Islamic medicine was very simple. He said, anything that you can use to help heal, doesn't matter from where it comes, use it so long it does not harm and it does good. If it works, use it. And he believed in it and he practiced it. He even used UV light to kill viruses like HIV, in actual HIV. He had a machine which he got from Germany and he used it. And he believed in, for instance, I mean, if you take hypertension, one of the drugs that we are using in those days was from Rauwolfia, the plant. But this drug had one side effect. It caused depression. But the Hakims, when they use the Rauwolfia, they use it in its total sense. They didn't refine it. And when they used it, there was no depression. So you see, we need to take from others as well. And I think this is one of the lessons which we need to inculcate going forward with IMA, is to try and take from other disciplines things which can heal and help. And this is Islamic medicine. And this, if you take it forth, we need to do research on it. One of our failures in IMA is we haven't done research. We've done research in ethics, but not in medicine. And that's a challenge we need to take forward. And that's a challenge I leave you with. If that's a legacy that Ahmad Qadi has left with us, then alhamdulillah, we will go forward, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.